Welcome back to the Make or Break Shop. This week we're gonna make a baby gate because this little girl wants to go right up these stairs. All right, so the first step in most of these projects is I am going to plane and joint the edges of my board. I'm just using straight up 2x4s for the frames, and then I think they are like 1x12s. That's gonna be going inside of the middle. I'm gonna rough cut them on the miter saw just to get them to size so they're easier to work with. I'm gonna be using 30-inch pieces that I'll get to their final size here in 1 second. First thing I'm going to do is take the edge across the joiner. This is giving me a flat edge that I can then rotate it just 45 degrees, and I'm going to use that straight edge that is now flat to cut the bottom of the 2x4. Then I've got two pieces that are flat and square to each other. I flip the whole thing over and I can take it through the planer. Once I take it through the planer, then all I have to do is flip it so I've got the edge running along my table saw fence and run it down the table saw, and then I'm good to go. That's the process I'm using for pretty much everything, and then I'm going back and taking it, cutting the pieces to size. Pretty sure people are watching me as I talk because I'm literally kneeling in my garage. All right, so now that we've got this cut out, we're gonna be working on the center panels. These are just gonna be 5 inches thick, and I'm cutting this out from a 1x12 piece of pine. I've actually got another one that I've done right over here. I'm gonna show you guys. And so, that is that frame we just did, and these are the panels. They are 5 inches wide. So we are ripping those down on the table saw and then cutting them to size. And then the next step, we're gonna use a dado stack. And the main reason for this is that I'm gonna be able to cut this stuff out a lot quicker. If you haven't used a dado stack before, all it is a couple blades, and then you've got spacers in between. So I'm gonna change out my saw blade really quick and get rolling. All right, so now that we've got these guys cut out, we are going to cut the grooves in the top and the bottom pieces. This dado stack is actually a little bit smaller than this mortise. That is gonna let me be able to cut a groove that is exactly in the middle, because I'm gonna take it through one way and then flip it around and take it through the other way. I'm gonna do this in several different steps, so I'll kind of sneak up on that gap. And then once I have it, I can lock everything in place, and then I can run the rest of the board through. I actually did this wrong. If I was doing this again, I would actually make the tenons the same size as the panels that are gonna be going inside. So I could use the tenons and the panels would be the exact same thing. I did not do that. The panels are actually a little bit thicker. These don't quite fit in right now. So what I'm gonna do is take all the panels through the planer, get them the thickness that's gonna fit. You guys could skip this whole process if you had made your tenon this size on the actual frame pieces that would be going into this. So now that we've got all the pieces cut out, we are going to do a dry assembly, make sure everything is good to go, and I'm actually gonna have to cut one of these down to size to make sure everything fits. All right, so now that we've got this built, I finished it off by sanding it down, and then I used some General Finish Armor Seal. I did a couple coats of this just to give it a nice clear coat protection on the top. So the next step is we're gonna move on to the install phase. I'm using these T-hinges that I got from the big box store. So you can see I am installing those on both the top and the bottom. And now that I have all the hinges put on, we can move ahead and install it to the wall. This is the best solution that I've come up with so far. So I am going to drop this right here, and I'm going to screw it up here and down. Luckily where the actual hinges line up is I'm going to drill some of the holes into the baseboard. And as some spacers to give it some gap on the bottom, I'm going to use 2 National Geographic, Easter Island, Solar Sun, June 2012. I've already pre-drilled and put in the screws into this board. Then all I'm gonna do is push it up against so I get the marks where these are gonna go exactly. Are you gonna try to cut the gate? You gonna come up here? Alright, you guys can see that it is doing the job and keeping my daughter from going up the stairs. We've got it finished and it is now installed. If you guys like what's going on here, make sure and hit that subscribe button. Also, we've got a playlist of all the things we've been doing inside of the nursery that includes a crib, a closet remodel, an end table, and a bunch of other stuff. You can check that out right over there. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Go make or break something in your shop. See you guys.